becomes this clown where people have this. I forgot the exact word for the phobia.
Coulrophobia.
Yeah. And they talk about this. They go into depth about how much people have really kind of disconnected from what the original concept of a clown was to now being a horror theme
Icon.
costume, like icon or costume or person, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are terrified of clowns. And over time, I think it's starting to become more accepted where people fear clowns because it's used in horror movies so much and in costumes. And I don't know, I just find it ironic that the thing that was supposed to bring people joy or like happiness is something that's like a killer now.
Yeah.
Shows you how backwards our society is right now, or progressively getting.
Yeah, especially with like movies like The Joker, It, and different other iterations of clowns being evil.
Yeah.
It's definitely one to check out. I thought it was really good, really interesting. And another one is one that's on streaming on HBO, and that is Paul. If you haven't, the Alien.
The Alien.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah, Seth Rogen, the guys that brought you Shaun of the Dead. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really fun movie. I totally forgot how much I enjoy this movie, and really kind of it always brings a smile to my face because it's one of the few movies that I watched with my uncle and my brother in the movie theater. So it's always kind of cool to like reminisce on those times, and also like the movie's pretty funny.
What is that streaming on? Is that streaming on anything?
That's on HBO.
Okay.
All right, so I have two. My first one is also on HBO. It's an HBO original show. There's it's just put out its third episode, and it's called Betty. Basically, it's a kind of follows this group of women skateboarders, young women, and pretty much like is showing you the perspective of trying to skate alongside men, and how masculinity, like how bad masculinity is running rampant in skateboarding culture, and it really kind of captures like these girls and their perception of that. It's called Betty, and it's really good.
Nice.
Is it a timepiece or is it now?
I believe it's contemporary.
Contemporary. Okay.
Yeah, there's also it's interesting because there's an indie movie that came out a couple of years ago called Skate Kitchen with all of these same girls, but they're not actually playing themselves. It's kind of like how Larry Clark does, where it's like the filming process seems very organic, you know, where they're kind of just getting into issues and stuff that you would think that they would get into. Also, it's based in New York, so that's really a really cool aspect.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, and it's called Betty because that's the slang that the skaters call women skaters or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, get out of the way, you Betty. My next one, which is, I think it's on streaming right now on Prime, Warrior, starring Joel Edgerton and Tom Hardy. Basically, it's about these two estranged brothers that have to fight in the same MMA tournament, and it also stars Nick Nolte, who's really fucking good in that movie. He steals that movie, in my opinion.
I have spoken.
Yeah, and that's my two.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now for the movie focus of the week.
All right, this week we're talking about James's pick. It's called Run All Night. It's rated R. It came out in 2015. It's a drama crime thriller. It runs at 1 hour and 54 minutes, and it's got a 58 on Rotten. It's directed by Jean Collet Serra, starring Liam Neeson, Boyd Holbrook, Joel Kinnaman, Genesis Rodriguez, Ed Harris, Common, Nick Nolte, and Vincent D'Onofrio. The synopsis I wrote for this is Family is everything in this gritty crime drama about a retired hitman, Jimmy Conlon, who's struggling to live with his dark past. As his longtime best friend suddenly turns his back on him, putting a hit out on Jimmy's son, a war rages throughout a single night. Who will survive, and at what cost?
Cool.
Damn, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Well played. Well played.
So, James, I think this is a fresh watch for everybody but you. So tell us why you were so adamant about picking this film and what it means to you.
I think I actually ended up getting this movie randomly at Target one time.
Gave it a shot?
Yeah, a few years back. It was on Blu-ray. I bought it, and I was like, "Oh, this looks pretty cool." Like, I don't think I had ever seen a movie with Joel Kinnaman before, but I knew the two older guys. I knew Liam Neeson and the bald guy, and then Common, of course. They're both on the they're all on the cover. But it looked interesting to me, so I bought it, watched it at home, and I don't know what it is about the movie, but I kind of fell in love with it. So it really. I don't know what it is about the movie that I kind of resonate with. Maybe it's the estranged father or son relationship. So I can kind of relate to that in a way. And I think it's I don't know. I like the action in it. I like the way the cinematography is, the cool shots of kind of how they'll be in one place to New York, and then the camera will kind of pull out of the room, and go, like a bird's eye view, and then go across the town or the city, and then go in through someone else's window or through a car or a subway or whatever it may be. I really like that those shots right there. Those are I hadn't seen that before in a movie, and I think that was really what made it special to me as well. But for me, this movie doesn't get old. I can watch this. I think I've seen this probably now maybe maybe 5 or 6 times. So it's definitely a good watch for me. Well, what did you guys think of it? Maybe we can start with whoever wants to go.
I'll go next, man. This movie was the first time for me watching it, and I just want to say, just first right off bat, when I started watching it, it reminded me, obviously for the obvious reasons of like Taken, only because of Liam Neeson. That was the only reason. But to be honest, I've only seen Taken like once before, and I know there's only 3. There's like 3 of them now, I think. Or 3. So to me, dude, watching this movie, I felt, and I was talking to Oneris about it, it had a running scared vibe to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Like that movie, I really like that movie because fucking Paul Walker's dope in that movie, but it had the same almost transcending of like the father-son, where Liam Neeson was taking care of his son and protecting him from what was happening, and how it was going back and forth in these stories. And I was tripping out on how everybody was connected. Like when we first were introduced to the characters, I was like, oh shit, he's the fucking limo driver, and that's Jimmy, the Great Digger's son. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, this is not good already. Like they're so connected in this big ass city, but it shows you, like those shots you were saying, where it goes like an aerial shot from like a drone into an actual scene. I really liked those scenes. I was talking to Tiny about that shit. I was like, oh fuck, I like that shit. That's really, really cool.
And it was really seamless too.
Yeah, it was really smooth. Exactly. I like the transformation. You know, the
transition between the different shots.
Yeah, I really dug that because, like you said, I haven't seen that. It reminded me of a really good video game, you know?
Yeah.
But other than the typecast of the Liam Neeson, aka racist Neeson, other than that, it was good, man. I thought it was good. I thought Ed Harris was really, really good. And fucking Common, dude, he surprised me, dude. Like, he was just... I didn't even know it was him until I started, like, tripping out because he didn't have a beard, dude, and he had a fucking weird, like, cleft lip where it was all...
Yeah.
But I thought it was a good movie, dude. It was pretty cool. Other than the typecast of the Liam Neeson guy. But he was good, dude. He actually, like I said, from the first time that I saw Taken, he was a little bit different because he's like a drunk, like a fuck up in this, and he kind of like, I don't know.
He's kind of like at the end of his rope already.
Yeah, like I kind of felt like this character was like a reflection of like what the Taken guy was, almost like a yin yang, like how he's just kind of like gonna protect his family, but this guy will, you know, from what we saw, will kill his own family and like just be a killer and like not really give a fuck. But he had heart for his son. That's what I was trying to get my point across with Tiny and say, yeah, I don't think he would have fucked over his son. He might have fucked over his cousins or his nephews and nieces, but I don't think he would have fucked over his son. I think he did his best to protect him as long as he could, you know?
Yeah, and I know that's what he tried to tell him towards the end of the movie. Like, you know, the reason I wasn't around was to keep you away from this type of life.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
And as a kid, you don't really understand that. I mean, and then you hold resentment towards, like, you know, a father for abandoning you or whatever, for like, his reasonings. You wouldn't understand it until you're older.
I love this movie for that reason. Because, like, the whole movie, Liam Neeson, you could tell he, like, cares, like, the whole time, and people keep shrugging him off. Mm-hmm. And like, I can feel like I can relate to that, like, with my dad. Like, he's, like, a drunk like that, too, and, like, people shrug him off, but, like, when he needs to do shit, dude, he gets it done, dude. Like, so it's, like...
Very true.
You know? So it's, like, that's how I can relate to this movie in that fashion. And I really appreciate Common's fucking performance. And me and Vic were like, dude, he's like kind of like piggybacking off like Smoking Aces in this one, dude. Like a little bit, like
Ivory.
He's a scene stealer in everything he is. It's funny that like in a lot of these action movies, he's kind of like a second or third like a character who's in the background. But every time he's in the scene, he's a focus.
Yeah, dude. And then I also appreciate in this movie, it's very small, but Nick Holt's little part, dude, he kind of explains like the whole movie about like how crazy Liam Neeson is, dude. Like,
what was his name again?
It's just
Uncle Eddie,
Uncle Conlon or something. No,
Uncle Eddie.
It's Uncle Eddie. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very family oriented and. What me and Vic saw in the featurette, like Liam Neeson's all about family movies with a small amount of action, but this whole movie was all action.
Yeah.
So that was cool. It was a good movie to watch if you're into family and a small amount of action type movies. So, what would you say about it, Diego?
I mostly pay attention to the way it was filmed more than the actual story because that was more intriguing to me. And it's not to say like the story wasn't good or anything, but just the way it was filmed, it was so unique, like you guys specified earlier. It was just so well done. I felt that like some of the cutscenes, like I see them now in music videos, which is weird because prior to this, I don't think I've ever seen something like that. And
like when a laptop like goes through New York, or like I don't know, like a screensaver, like you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was just like to me, it was kind of crazy. And this was like a first time watching this movie, and like I said, and like a lot Vic reiterated back was like it was the typecast for Liam Neeson. And I was like, man, I'm watching Taken. Except he's drunk now. Except this was drunk now. and it, you know, there's a lot of, like, you guys basically kind of touched on everything, like, I got out of it. It's just mostly, like, for me, like, I paid attention more to the way it was filmed, the way it was edited, and the way, and the cinematography in this was just, I was just blown away, bro. And
yeah,
it was